Hi everyone, welcome back to Alpha Physio Pelvic Care. My name is Anastasia Barova and I'm a pelvic floor physiotherapist spreading the word about pelvic floor, about pelvic health and everything related pelvic health. And today I realized that I need to tell you something very important. I need to tell you what pelvic floor is. And I'm putting a lot of different topics in relation to pelvic floor, but in fact I realized I didn't tell the very basics. What pelvic floor is and what its function. Let's dive into it. Before we start talk about pelvic floor, if you're watching this video, if you learned something new, I would really appreciate your subscription and like. I'm putting all my clinical experience here on the YouTube. It really motivates me when you give me your feedback. So let's begin with pelvic floor. First of all, many people associate pelvic floor with something that we start to think about when maybe we had a baby, or maybe we're adults and we are struggling with incontinence. For males, when they have any operation with the prostate or there is some kind of erectile dysfunction. So this is when people start to think about pelvic floor. But pelvic floor in fact kicks in the moment the child is formed in the uterus of the mother. Pelvic floor is an essential part of the body, and you will see now why. Our pelvic floor essentially is a set of muscles that is covering the big bony hole that otherwise would be empty and things would fall through it if those set of muscles wouldn't be there, hence the floor. Together with our breathing diaphragm and with abdominal muscles, it forms so-called core muscle that helps to keep our body steady and allowing it free movement without organs moving out of place. Therefore, when baby is born, even when they start the basic function of pooping and peeing, lifting their legs a little bit, turning and so on, they already start to use their pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor function kicks in even before the birth, but fully on right after the birth. Pelvic floor consists of several layers of muscle. It's not just one single muscle that kind of covers the whole thing up and this is it. And this is a very smart thing. Those layers are creating a good solid support for our organs, but at the same time, each of the layer allows different function. There's a deep layer, and altogether this muscle is called levator ani. I can never say it properly from the first time, but so it's levator ani. Is really big muscle that comes from the front of your inner part of your pubis and goes all the way back into your coccyx. Of course, it consists of several parts that has a fancy name, iliococcygeus, pubococcygeus, and so on. But it's not an anatomy lesson, and I think for you it's important to realize the function. So there's this deep, strong, solid layers of several bigger muscles. These muscles provide that stability when we walk, when we run, when we go up and down, when we basically do any single movement with our body. Those muscles also contains special holes that we can exercise the normal bodily function, peeing, pooping, childbirth for females, and also procreation, hence sex. After the deeper muscles, there are some smaller muscles, and this one here is the female pelvic floor. I will talk about this one, and I also mention there's of course some anatomical difference with male pelvic floor, but the functions are kind of overlapping and similar. The smaller muscles around here are the sphincters that are helping us to either contain and hold the bowel contents or urine, or relax and let go and let all the contents exert from the body. And those sphincters are smaller, and those sphincters is possible to control willingly. So these are muscles that we can control. However, there is internal anal sphincter that is autonomous. So this kind of sphincters we can control, and this is under control of our autonomic nervous system. So it works automatically. However, not many sphincters and muscles are non-controllable, let's say, consciously, and most of it is under our musculoskeletal system, and we can control them consciously. So we can squeeze them and we can release them. Besides all the muscles around, pelvic floor and pelvic cavity in general contains our very, very important organs, which is bladder, which is for female is uterus, rectum, and a little bit higher there is also gut. For male it will be prostate, again it will be bladder, rectum and gut. Great thing about pelvic floor is that we actually, if we're healthy and we're functioning, at the full potential, we can control, so we can relax when we want to relax and let, for example, penetration happen, or relax and let, for example, baby come out. And we can squeeze and hold when we want to run to the toilet and don't pee ourselves. However, pelvic floor muscles are exactly same muscles as our body muscles, as our quads, as our biceps, and any other muscles that we can actually consciously control. So what can happen with those muscles? They can get weak, they can get wasted, they can get injured, and they will be also influenced by overall health. They can be under influence of the stress, the physical stress, and even the emotional stress. They will be under influence of hormone, both male and female, and they will be under the influence under any other factors that might happen. Therefore, we need to take a good care of our pelvic floor muscles in order not to let them wasted, not to let them get weak, so we can continue to exhibit the functions, the bodily functions, in a controlled manner for as long as possible. Best way to do it, you guessed it right, pelvic floor exercises. And I know it sounds kind of boring, sitting there all day long doing Kegels. Well, that would be like 1999 approach, and these days there are so many other ways you can incorporate your pelvic floor exercises within the existing routine and also make it fun. I have plenty of videos in my page under the playlist exercises and practical tips, where you can find some exercise to do for your pelvic floor. We also can take good care of our pelvic floor generally through our lifestyle. For example, if we sit all day long, what these muscles do? Exactly, they do nothing. So they're just resting there, becoming weaker, becoming kind of atrophied. So what we need to do? We need to move, to walk, to do some physical activity, and not necessarily something very hard. It can be simple walking, cycling, swimming. So through the whole body movement, through the breathing, pelvic floor muscles also move. We need to take care of our liquid intake, so we don't irritate our bladder with little liquid and we start to have pelvic pain around the area. We need to take care, very good care, of our diet, so we don't suffer from constipation, because if we constipate and constantly push and push and push, we overwhelm these muscles, we overstretch them, and not only muscles but also organs around them, because every time you bear down, the organs slightly drop down, and of course they come back later on. But if this happens again and again, there can be potential for pelvic organ prolapse. I have some more videos about this, you can check it out. As you can see, pelvic floor is an amazing thing, and quite often it's all forgotten. I see videos all the time about legs, arms, core, breathing, spinal movements, and there is no mention of the pelvic floor. One might think, well, it should work automatically, right? If I'm exercising, I'm kind of doing things with my pelvic floor. My experience shows that not always. I do have clients who do have pelvic organ prolapse, who have incontinence, but generally they're very fit people and they might even be going to the gym. And this is because they have not learned to properly engage, and most important, consciously engage their pelvic floor during exercises. Because we're never told about this part. We are never think about it. We never connect with it. So it's very important to think about it, connect with it consciously, and once you learn to do it consciously, then conscious will kick in, and then you will be able to do your pelvic floor exercises not just laying down and contracting, but actually through your routine. Pelvic floor education should be part of the school curriculum, and I hope they will do it one day. But until they don't, it's up to us to educate ourselves about our body function, including the pelvic floor. Please let me know, guys, in the comments if you learned something new today, if this was something you knew already, nothing new for you. And thank you for your likes. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, and we will see you back very, very soon. Bye bye.